Hi guys. So I made a video talking about the Ireland squad and went into great detail about that. I showed you all the URC webpage, and I thought it was a very interesting page to go into. I was actually pleasantly surprised. I'd been on it before, but got kind of carried away. But I think it was made for a really good video, and I was going to do all the teams all at once. I think it's a better format going through each team, bit by bit. Obviously, some teams will be faster and quicker than others doing the review. Like it won't take as long with some of them as England or Ireland's first opponents. Let's take a deep dive into England. So, just going to share the screen, which is now. Yeah, there we go. Let's go into it now. Yeah, there we are. So, I was just looking at the toughest tackler. I'm in the actual Premiership rugby itself now and Gallagher Premiership. So you can see up here that Guy Pepper for Bath, Will Evans for Harlequins, Juan Martin Gonzalez for Saracens, the Argentinian, Finn Smith, who will be playing in the squad, and then Ernst Van Ryn. Just thought it'd be interesting to show you those stats. Finn Smith is a player who looks really entertained at the moment. It's a bit messier now, I must say, than the ORC page, but still very interesting. So let's go through each player. Yeah, 21 years old, Guy Pepper. He's obviously making a good name for himself. Yeah, with Sam Underhill as well. It's going to be a good back rower. Sam Underhill's unfortunate, such a great defender, like great chop tackler. It really reminds everyone, I think, of the Orc, from Lord of the Rings, and plays like one as well. The Beast. Will Evans, yeah. I don't actually really know Will Evans or Guy Pepper now, I have to admit. I know Finn Smith. Um, but let's have a look at Guy Pepper here for a second to show you what we can. Wow, that was impressive. Right, get out of that now. That was good. He looks like a promising open side flanker, number seven on his back. Just to touch on that, I don't even really know that guy. I'm impressed. 34 tackles in one game. Let's make sure we're getting that right now. Yeah, Jesus, fair play. That's incredible. I haven't played open side myself as well. Like I know how tough a position it is. It is tough. And what I just wanted to highlight there was, do you see the amount of different types of tackles he's making? So always annoyed me the cheek to cheek rule. You know what I mean? It's like I understand where they're coming from, but what I teach the lads that I'm coaching is you may have to make different types of tackles. You see the way he's choke tackling, he's just kind of falling back sometimes. Like he's actually let's go through it. Let's go through it again. Just to highlight it. I'll pause it in certain parts. See, like that's a bit of a seatbelt tackle there. But like in fairness, you just make it when you can. He gets him around the shoulders, so nothing wrong with it. Just today's rules, you got to be careful not to hit them around the neck. See there, like the choke tackle is a favorite of mine. Just holding guys up. Um, Plus, if you hold them up, you can slow them down. And I think that's the biggest thing about being a back row is to slow down the opposition's ball as much as you physically can. Sam Warburton is great at that. He was better at the jackal more so. He wasn't really much of a choke tackler. He was really good at just getting that low hit in on people and then getting over the ball. And when you had the likes of Dan Lydiate in the team, you had a great chop tackler. Only watching him yesterday for the Dragons. 1 sec, please. We're back. Sorry, let's have a look now. So yeah, you see the way, just make sure that's recording. He's really good at that choke tackle, isn't he? Make sure I am. Yeah, great. See how he kind of absorbs the hit there, so he's not getting in necessarily. There's a big lad running at him, and he's absorbing the tackle and falling back with him. That's one that, especially on the bigger guys, you can't outmuscle them. So it's important, just to absorb the hit, the fall back. Another choke tackle. And see the way he kind of holds around the torso and falls back with the lad so that he can get the turnover. Very good. Very nice indeed. Let's get out of this now. Well, I'll just go up. There we go. Yes, just wanted to highlight. See the way that he kind of helps the lad to the ground. So then that doesn't look very good on the screen, I know. And let's push that for a sec. But just so you can help the lad to the ground and get over the ball and jackal, and then you can pull it up. It's very important when you're playing league just to really get in and disrupt the player. And like playing the back row, turnovers and tackles, especially in open side flankers, what you want to be doing. No, that was impressive for sure. Finn Smith, fly half, really good player, someone that I've been impressed with. So let's just go back now. Just want to make sure you guys can see it now. I'm going to show you the squad, FYI. Here we go now. There's Maro Itoje. Let's smash him. Seems like an arrogant fucker, doesn't he? Yeah, good player, but certainly not as good as he was before. I think people are still living off the past. Yeah, he's definitely very arrogant, but Racing told him where to go, didn't they, when he asked for a ridiculous 1.2 million euro, I think it was. Certainly not short on confidence anyway. It's a lot messier than the Irish page, I will say. It's a credit to Irish rugby where it's due. So here's the squad now. Just actually got to look because Guy Pepper impressed me there. See if he's in the team. I've looked at it, but yeah, I know most players that are in it. Ted Hill, I know, going to call up. Joe Hayes, I've seen before, big fella, big tight head. Do you imagine he'll be replacing Will Stewart, this man here, who I've got to say has stepped up. I've been impressed with him lately. He's been a lot better. Now Asher Apoku for sure. That's a mouthful, all right. Um, he's backed to replace him. I haven't really seen him play, but I have seen Joe Hayes. He's like that big beefcake tight head that not very skillful, but does the job that you want. Set piece. Big loss for them is this man, Jamie George. Just even the leadership that he brings. He was very skillful before, but even without that, sorry, one sec, the noise is just unbelievable. And we're back. Fucking noise is unbelievable. Come in here to get a bit of peace and the noise outside. But yeah, George Martin, big man, the second row. I'm expecting him to partner Maro Itoje in the second row, who was the captain. Personally, I wouldn't have made Maro Itoje captain. I just think he's too arrogant. I don't like the fact that what he does. I just think. Just check my audio there. We just disconnect these. So we'll go without it. Shut a door now, so it should be better. Yeah, there we are. Yeah, like Tom Willis is an exciting player. He's getting in the Six Nations squad. Should be good to see. Ben Earl, I imagine, will be huge. Ted Hill is a big physical presence. They're going to look to bully Ireland. Look, there's no two ways about it. They're going to look to physically dominate. Finn Baxter, not Ethan Baxter. Cunningham South, yeah, he could probably be in there. I'd say, would you pick him over Ted Hill? Maybe. I don't know. The back row I would go for would be Tom Curry at open side. It's amazing his brother only has six caps and he's 56. His twin, his identical twin. One of them wears a scrum cap now. I think Tom is the one in the scrum cap. Double trouble. Gave them both three letter names as well. Nice simple names, just like me and my brother Dan and Sam. Yeah, I think Cunningham South at six because he's a big physical presence. I know he's only young, but yeah. Film, a lot of teams are going to go with 6-2 splits, and I think England have the firepower in the back, in the pack to do it. They don't really need it in the back line. I think they've got enough there. They've physical but fit backs, and I definitely think they'll be all right. They just need a scrum half and like a utility back on the bench. That's the risk, like that South Africa did with a 7-1 split, is that you've got only one back. Now, if you've got forwards like Quacka Smith who can play in the back line, you're sorted. These are sevens players, so no problem there. But with England, like they've kind of they've changed it around, like which is good to see. So there's some new faces in there. Ted Hill hasn't really been given his chance, and that's caused a lot of controversy. I watched him against Leinster. I wasn't overly impressed. Thought he started strong, but certainly wasn't one of the standout performers for Bat. I thought De Glanville was very good, and Lawrence had a really good game. He's really coming into his own. But look, not everyone is going to perform amazingly all the time, and he was good in certain parts. But Finn Russell, as much as it pains me to say it, had a good game. Credit where it's due. The key players like Ben Earl gonna be absolutely key. I would go with Tom Curry at seven, open side, Ben Earl at number eight, and Chandler Cunningham South at six. Physical, powerful back row, and then like if I was Steve Borthwick and like he was a former big second row, I'm chopping and changing, sorry, but Finn Baxter looks like the replacement. Lou said from what I'm hearing, the Harlequins man, nice to have it all in there. I think Ollie Chesham will be on as a replacement second row slash kind of back row if you need him. He goes at six. Then you'll have Theo Dan on the bench, more than likely. I think Cowan Dickey will start given that Jamie George is out. Joe Hayes will be the replacement tight head for me. That's what I'm going with. I don't think Asher Apuku Forjur. it's it's going to trip me up. We'll go Asher OF. Um, I don't know. I've seen Joe Hayes and I've been like impressed with how solid he is. You know, he's a boring type of player, but he's solid. That's what you want with a tight head prop. Big, solid fucker. We'll say it's not the same spelling, but another famous Hayes that played tight head for Ireland, John. And I think that will be the second row partnership. You know, England are going to go big. You know, they like to go big. Bevan Rod's still around. I'm surprised at that. I thought he was well past his best. No Guy Pepper, who made the 34 tackles. Just to highlight again, players not getting picked that really should be. Now, please, Steve Borthwick, do not go with George Ford starting. I don't think he will. I hope he doesn't. I'm hearing talks that they might put Marcus Smith at fullback and play George Ford at 10. Now, it wouldn't be the first time that England have gone out of their way to accommodate George Ford, but I certainly wouldn't. I would say to Marcus Smith, this is your team. Do as you wish. You know, Alex Mitchell is out as well, just FYI. Him and Jamie George. So big losses. I think Alex Coles is out too. Any England fans in the comments, let me know. Um, Not a big fan of him, Van Portfleet. Don't think he's great. I certainly think there are better scrum halves. Obviously, Alex Mitchell being one of them. Ben Spencer looks like a good player. He can run with the ball, but he's also quite good um, at box kicks, and he's kicked off either foot, which I've been impressed with. Even though Saracens were poor against Munster and lost the game that they really could have won if they'd shown up, I still thought Ben Spencer was good for the most part. Freddie Stewart would be my fullback. You know, I mean, and I'm being unbiased here. Obviously, I want Ireland to win, but it also annoys me when I don't see the best team out in the field for either side. You know, Freddie Stewart is just a big physical man. He commands the ball. Like the high ball is his. George Fairbank had a good game against Ireland last year, kept running it back because we kept kicking it to him. We've got to get the ball off the field because if we don't, we have this man, Ollie Slightholme, who I'm very excited to see, but also worried, you know. This man will be pulling the strings from 10, I've no doubt about it, and he should be. Tom Roebuck is a good player also for sale. Saw him have a really good game against Toulon, even though they lost that game, the Sale Sharks. He was very impressive. Tommy Freeman, very impressive as well. And these guys are physical. You know, they're not just speedsters. Elliot Daly, I would have him at 23 because he can cover so many different positions. He's played centre, he's played wing, he's played fullback. He can kick, no doubt he can play 10 if you needed him to, but you wouldn't want them to unless it was necessary. And I think England have the firepower in the pack to go a 6-2 split. I just love seeing the 6-2 split because I'm a forward, so don't know this lad. I'll have to admit, don't know him at all. Um, Uncapped, Caden Murley, don't really know him either. I don't watch the Premiership, purely going off players that I already know and players that I have seen in the Investec Champions Cup. So just look here, Underhill, yeah, rehabilitation, Nick Ezekwe. I know Nick Ezekwe, I know Sam Underhill, of course. I know him, Gabriel Ibitoy. I have seen him a few times, not that often, so I won't comment on that. Seen this lad, Afalobi Fasogbon, am I saying that right? Destroying Ellis Genge and then just waving to him, bye bye. See you later, pal. Faye Wabosa, yeah, very good player. Wales would be pissed off that he chose England over them. But yeah, They are like, here's the funny thing: the back three of the backs, they're very good, England, and then the back row, they're very good. It's the other places, like midfield. Um, I think that Ollie Lawrence has been very good. It's just the click of the partnership. Like when I name my best team, I think that Andre Esterhazen is a better 12 than Damien Dialande. I keep saying Damien, but I don't know if do Afrikaners pronounce it Damien or Damien. Let me know. We'll go with Damien. But Esterhazen, I think, is better because he's bigger, more physical, has a better kick on him as well, big left boot. But Dialande and Creel know each other so well, they play so well together. Whereas I think Henry Slade and Ollie Lawrence haven't quite got that yet. But certainly, it's an interesting England side. Will Stewart's been playing very well, and I'm worried about Andrew Porter having to go up against him. Good news for Ireland is, and I'm always going to go back to that, Andrew Porter can play more minutes than Will Stewart, meaning that he has Will Stewart and he can deal with him. I wouldn't be very confident with Keane Healy having to deal with him. Um, Joe Hayes is a big man, though, if he comes on. But whether Asher, OF, or Joe Hayes gets picked, we'll have to wait and see. I'll do another video when the squads are actually announced. Thing that I think Ireland will get an edge over England is discipline. England are an ill-disciplined team, and I don't like the fact that they've picked Genge as a vice captain and Itoje as captain. And the video I made about Ireland saying how we're going to get over England is by forcing them into penalties. Let them, yap away at the ref. We get a few penalties and then we kick them. And we've got to kick them. We've got to be clinical. Every time we get kicks at posts, we got to take them. At least early on, anyway. And I don't think you can be risking trying to get the bonus point win against England. I think the game will be too close, way too close. I think we got to just go for the win. Um, Look, you can go back to back to back, three Six Nations titles, having not done two Grand Slams that you definitely could have done, and given a disappointing World Cup. I think Ireland have to do it. Our fans are going to get pissed off, like they really are. And I think rightly so, because they've given the Irish team so much support. And I mean, I'll always support them. I still support the football team, and geez, we all know about that. We actually have a chance of beating England in the rugby. I think where Ireland are too humble, England are over the top, arrogant. Just FYI, I think it's more in their nature. They'll mouth off a lot more at players and whooping and hollering and all that shit that Saracens in England were doing. Ben Earl, like very good player, but annoying. Like when there's a knock on, whoa, yeah. Ben Earl knocked the ball on, and I thought everybody missed an opportunity to go, yeah, fuck yeah. He's gonna do it. You know, if he's doing that all game, I would be waiting for an opportunity for him to knock the ball on, and then you just pat him on the back of the head, like, oh, well done, and then just roar. Real American like. Um, but yeah, areas where I think England could potentially beat Ireland, and I hope to God it doesn't happen. Just saying, but this is rugby. I think they could potentially get on top of us in the scrum. Um, Dan Shane's back and looks like he's playing well, so that's very good to see. Tyke Furlong will be back. Great news, brilliant. But you don't want to risk getting them injured because then you've got France to play soon as well. Against Scotland, I think we can afford to go with I wouldn't say a weaker pack, but we're not going to need as much firepower on the pack as we will against England. I think Scotland are more likely to beat us in the back line. England, I think, will try and get on top of us physically, and it's all about how we cope with that. And if we can impose our game plan on them, you know, New Zealand beat Ireland by actually not having a really hard press. So I was only looking at videos, the rush defense, like the blitz defense, where you're just coming up, whacking the fly half. Or what a lot of teams will do is they will basically assume that the fly half is passing the ball and they'll just run past them and target the centres. And Ireland get caught behind the gain line so often because they're so predictable. Forward doesn't carry. Our forwards tend to look to pass, and if the space presents itself, then we run. Whereas when I've seen England playing, their first instinct, like the forwards, is to carry, which is what a forward should do. You know, big, strong lad, carry the fucking ball. You know, but that's not what they're doing with Ireland. Like what we're doing is, you'll see Toy Byrne get it, look to pop it out the back door, and then he looks up. There's space. Oh, now I'll go. Even when Caelan Doris got a try against Australia in the November series, and I was there, we were all looking, and I remember just looking at him, and he was right next to the posts. There was a huge gap, and he looked to pass first. I know it's a very specific thing, but you could see him looking to the right before he just went. If that was me, I'm just gone. You know, I'm right next to the try line. Don't care who's in front of me, I'm going over. You know what I mean? There was no one in front of him. Back yourself, you've got the strength, do it. And he showed that when he trampled over Finn Russell, which we were all happy to see, I'm sure. Um, so that's the England team. I also think, like, if in the back line, the thing with England is they have this man, Ollie Slughorn. They've got Tommy Freeman as well. I would go with a back three of those, you know, Tommy Freeman, Ollie Slughorn, and Freddie Stewart. Now, who's going to play on the left wing and who's going to play on the right wing is the interesting one, because Faye Wabosa played in the right wing and Tommy Freeman played in the left, but for Northampton he plays in the right wing. So I've seen Ollie Slughorn play at left wing and be very good. Like, I've only seen him come off the bench and he looks good. So maybe this is his chance. In which case, we need to fucking stop him. Like watching that game when Leinster played against Bath, and let's be real here, the Leinster team is practically the Ireland team with a few sprinkles of the other provinces. So what we're going to have to do, if we're going to hope to beat England, is when we kick, get the ball off the field, because these guys can run the ball back. Freddie Stewart is the biggest fullback I've ever seen. He's powerful, you know. He ran over Sione Tuipulotu. If anyone remembers that, that was impressive. I actually saw Hugo Keenan getting under him, though. Freddie Stewart with great technique and lift him up, but that's without any momentum. You kick the ball straight to these guys who have all got good hands, who are all very skillful. They want to carry. And then what I saw last season was Smith joining in the attack very well, which he does all the time. You know, he's a live wire if ever there was one. Um, and then you have Ollie Lawrence, who, in fairness, like I always saw potential in him. I would say England have a tendency of building a player up way too much, so then you're quite critical of them. You know, you kind of go, "Oh, he's shit. He's brutal. He's not shit." They just overhyped him. I think what they needed to do was just let him play, let him come into his own. I think he has done. He's done very well, um, which is a worrying thing for us because he got a try last year against us in the corner from not putting the ball off the field. So we just kept kicking it back. James Lowe, if you're listening, put the fucking thing out, please. Don't keep it in field because these guys will run it straight back. The area where England are weak is, well, I'm saying this based off last year where they didn't start with Marcus Smith. This year they are. And what that means is that he's going to look to spread the ball out wide. We can't get done out wide. We have to make our tackles. You know, I'm pretty confident in the partnership of either Aki and Ringrose or Aki and, or say, Henshaw and Ringrose. Got good partnerships that we can play there. We've got good experienced centres, and I think that's the area we'll be stronger. If we don't kick the ball out and let them run at us, they will, and they'll hurt players. What happened was Tommy Freeman ran over Calvin Nash because we didn't put the ball out. He had to rush in, try and make a big hit. Tommy Freeman's a big man, and he boshed him in the next week. Um, so ball has to go off the fucking field, into the rafters, whatever you have to do. Just make sure it goes off the field because they will carry the ball. And what's the knock-on effect? Let's see what I did there. The knock-on effect of that ball not going out was Freeman ran it, injured Calvin Nash. Then we had to put Kieran Frawley on the right wing where he hasn't played. He was inexperienced. He got cut out a few times, but in fairness, he's used to playing at centre and fullback, anywhere but fly half, it seems. And they scored another try out wide. You know, Ollie Lawrence getting one out wide, Fairbank getting another one. Down that the England left wing, Ireland's right wing. So that was clearly a weak area for us, especially with Nash getting injured. They're a physically stronger team. Don't look to outmuscle them. Look to outskill them. Make your hits. Double up tackles if you have to. And if they play the high line, they're more physical than New Zealand. They are. New Zealand always are. People always talk of the All Blacks as being, oh, they're such a big, strong, physical team. Not really. Like, that's not, I mean, they are, but that's not where they normally win. New Zealand win games on fitness. They're relentless. They're very fit. They just wear you down. But they get trampled by the likes of South Africa, but they keep making the tackles. They keep showing up. They actually didn't smash Ireland. They were smart. They said to us basically, go, try and play, see what you can do. They didn't rush up. They were kind of going, what have you got? Let's see what you've got. And they were actually doing a drift defence. South Africa doing much more up in your face, smash into you, take your fucking neck off, take your head off, break your neck, whatever the fuck. Um, and England did that before to great effect when they had Manu Tuolangi in the centres, just looking to mill people. Got away with a few illegal shots, but him and Henry Slade certainly worked well. Just some fella who bashes people and then someone with a bit more skill and elegance like Henry Slade. Now, Ollie Lawrence has a bit more footwork than Tuolangi, not his raw power, but he still can put in a good hit. Yeah, it's not going to be a foregone conclusion. I'm going with an Ireland win, but this England team, they're physical, that they have the capability to hurt teams physically, but their discipline could be shy. We're a fitter team, I believe. And if we can stay in the fight, like what you do with France, not to the same degree, because the French are fucking massive. And I can't wait to make a video on their team. But I thought I'd make one on England, just to kind of go, look at this side, this is a good team. We're going to need to show up. Ireland are playing England. It's going to be exciting. And I can't wait. Going to be a great clash. I'll do the rest of the team. They're going to do an individual one on each team because I think it's better. Um, and yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think. Oh, Era Dunvrua. Era Dunvrua. Now we'll wrap it up.